Hello guys, welcome to this video, and in this video I'll be teaching you how to document RESTful API with Postman and DocGen. Yeah, the long awaited tutorials is finally here, and I'll be creating more content for you guys. I'm so happy I surpassed my goal. My goal was to reach 100 subscribers within a month, and I surpassed it. Now I'm 300 plus. Thank you guys. I can't do that without you guys. I really appreciate every one of you. So now in this video I'll be showing you how we can document RESTful API with Postman and DocGen. Now Postman is a tool or a software that we use with developer to document our API. One thing is to write an API, another thing again is to document it. Now if you are new or you don't know what's a RESTful API, this is not a beginner course, this is actually an advanced course. So for those that's watching this, if you know what a RESTful API, this video will be useful for you. But for those that don't understand what's a RESTful API, I'm going to explain what's a RESTful API and also what's an API. So maybe you can, when you are a bit advanced and in your programming, then you can come back to this and watch this. Now API. An API is an application programming interface. It's a set of rules that allow programs to talk to each other. Now, it's just simple a contract between two software. Now, the developer creates the API on the server and allows the clients to talk to it. Just that, like it's a contract between two software, the server, the client, and whatsoever. Like the client make a request, the server send back a response. So it's kind of this an API. Now, RESTful API, Relational State Transfer, is a software architectural system that defines a set of constraints to be used for creating web services. Now, REST determines how the API looks like. It's a set of rules that the developer follows when they create their API. It's just like rules, like regulations that you have to follow to create an API. One of these rules states that you should be able to get a piece of data called resources when you link to a specific URL. Yeah, you should be able to get data, like when you say, okay, I want to do a get method, I want to do a put method, for instance. I have to get like a resources, like a request, or sorry, a response back from the server. Okay, so now for those that don't, like I said earlier, for those that don't know what we're trying to say or the terminology I'm trying to say, something like JSON, talking about JSON, something like API, RESTful API, and more terminologies. For those that don't know that, I think maybe you should, like, when you're a bit advanced in programming and maybe you're a bit advanced in creating web services, then you can come back to this video and watch how you can document your API. Okay, now so let's get started. Now this is Postman. Okay, so you can get Postman from Google. Just go to Google and just type download Postman or get Postman, and the first link should be to their website and you can download it easily. Okay, for those that have downloaded the Postman, if you're seeing the Postman now in your desktop, now you have to register. You have to create an account with them. I've already done that already, so that's why it's opening like this. It's a must you create an account for them because of this that we're going to create. Okay, now so the API I'm going to use is an API I've actually created before. It's a blog API. So I'm going to try to document the blog API. So let's see. So I've already started my server already. It's on port 3302. What am I even saying? Then they are already connected to the database already, which I'm using MongoDB. So I'll be leaving a link to the GitHub repo to this blog API. So if you feel like you want to use my own to learn how to document your API, no problem. Okay, so now we have to test some routes. So say it's not anymore. So click on this here and you say we should enter our request, right? So I'll say http / and I say localhost, right? Then 3002. Then I have to put in the route. So the route is auth Then we're trying to register, for instance, register. Yeah, that's it. So now when I click on the send, I have to click on the send. Actually, it's a post. If you can see down here, you see the get, post, put, patch, delete, and the rest. It's a post request. So I click on the post request and I press send. And I'm getting an error. I don't know why I'm having that error. Oh, sorry. I have to put in, that's not the URL, API/version1/auth/register. Then I press the send button again. And yeah, we can see it's telling us that we need the first name. Please, we need to add the first name, and these are the what's it called? These are the validation assets in the in my RESTful API. So these are the reasons the request is telling us back. So you have to send a payload. Now a payload is like a data. Now these are the data. I have to send the first name, the last name, the email, and the password for this to actually register the user. Okay, now so I have to come to this body right here, and I go to the body and I have to choose raw. Then I have to change this to JSON, right? So down here, what I need to do is to type in the first name, and I can say tech, and I'll type in what that thing say we need. Type in the last name, and I'll say Reagan, right? Reagan. Then I'll type in the email. Say techreagan@gmail.com, for example. Then what's the last one? Then we say the password. Let's put in the password. So I'll just put in this for the password. Should be okay. So now when I hit send, we should get back a response. Send. Yeah, so we are seeing the success true. This is the response that we are getting back, and the token as well. Okay, now if you look at this side, you can see the issue. Look at this side. So any of the routes that we try to get access to, that we try to send a request to, you will be seeing the all the history down here. I understand me. So in case we are trying to create like an API documentation, so we have to use the collection part, right? We have to use collection part for us to create an API documentation. So now I'll say create new collection, right? So here down here I'll say okay, blog API. I'm going to call it blog API. You can call it whatever you want to call it. Now this is the description. This description will be shown in your collection documentation along with the description of its folder and request. Actually, here you can also write a markdown file. Yeah, in markdown file here, you can put a markdown tag and all those things. It's going to work here. You see, description also supports markdown. So what I'm going to do here is I'll use this like a kind of like a block quote in HTML. So I'll say this is an example of it in markdown. So I'll say this is a minimal blog API with some advanced features developed using Node.js, Express.js, and MongoDB. Now, just simple like that. I don't want much, and I can be like developed by techreagan, and that should be okay. Are we there? So we can use markdown here. I can use this for heading 1. I can say Reagan, can see the highlighting, and tech. If you know markdown, so you can put in markdown here. So let me just clean this out just to show you that you can also as well put a markdown down there. So I can press create. Now we can see now that the markdown is the collection is actually created, right? So now we have 0 requests. So I'm going to be showing you how you can arrange your collections into different parts of your application. You can have your authentication part. Now in this blog API, we actually have about 4 modules. We have the user module, we have the post module, we have the comments, and we also have the authentication part, right? So now first thing first, we have to create our authentication part, right? So down here you say new, create a new folder, right? You add a new folder and you call it authentication, right? Then you click on create. Are we there? So now we should see the folder down here. So we can save our requests in this authentication folder. So here now, what I have to do is just to save it. I say file. Oh no, I think we can do that from here. Or first to add the request as well. Okay, yeah, sorry, save. So I'll click on the save here, and I'll change the request name to register user, right? To register a user. So down here, let's put the request description. Now this is the way you're going to start documenting your API. You have to give each endpoint a description, so that when somebody is trying to read your documentation, they'll be like, okay, register user. Actually, the register user is kind of explanatory already, but if you want to put more description, you can just put it down here. So here I can say add user to the database, right? When you register a user, you're adding to the database. So where do you want to put it? You want to put it in the blog API and in the authentication part, and I can press save to authentication, just like that. Boom, we are already in, just like that. So now we have created the register user, right? Now let's create another route for login. So we want to log in a user. So now I'll just press the plus button and I'll copy this one here. Just copy everything and I'll paste it down here. Then I'll change this to login, and down here I'll make it a post variable because you're posting. And I'll go to the body and raw. I have to change this to JSON, and if I send like that, we'll be getting please provide an email and password, or validation from the RESTful API. So now I can say the email, right? The email is techreagan@gmail.com, and the password, so what's the password again? This is the password, right? No need for that. So when we press send, we should get back our token. Now this token is the token we're going to use to get access to all our other routes. So now we have to save this endpoint. So I have to click on save now, and I'll call this login user, right? Call that the login user. So no need for us to put any description, right? It's just login is kind of descriptive enough. So it's to save authentication, just like that. So if you look at this closely, like we are kind of repeating ourselves. If you're seeing this here, this is the URL, http localhost 3000 3002, for that is the port number, right? We're kind of repeating ourselves here. Okay, so now we are seeing this here, this localhost 3002, right? We can't be doing this every time, each time we want to create an endpoint, right? So what we'll do is we'll copy this and we're going to create an environment variable that we can use everywhere when I'm trying to create all the endpoints. So down here, I just have to click on this, the settings, then I can click on add, right? So now we're going to add an environment variable. So I'll call this one the blog API. Just call it the blog API for the environment. Then for the variable is going to be URL, all lowercase. Then I'll press this like that, and I'll press this like this. So the initial value and the current value. So once I press add, now we have our environment variable, and the subject is the blog API. So we'll close this now. So what we need to do here is just to So let's do something like this. It's just to clean this up and do like this. You use the curly braces, then in the middle, 2 curly braces, and in the middle you put in the middle you put what is going on? Okay, sorry. Then like that. So now let's see if this is going to work. So when we hit send, we're not getting a response. Oh, we have to select the environment. Important. I have to select the environment. So down here I'll click on the blog API. Once I press send, now we're having it. It's telling us email already exists. Yeah. So we already registered this email. So we're having a kind of validation from our backend. Shorten. Okay, now so in your API, we have to like save different response, like for error response, for success response. For this kind of response, for instance, when we're having email already exists, right? So we have to save different response. So first response I'm going to save is when we didn't put the first name, the last name, and the email. So down here, I'll remove everything, right? And I'll just press send. Now you can see that this is the error response and the 400 bad requests. That means like you have to put in your first name, the feed, the last name, and email address. So yeah, we can come here and say save response and we say save as example, right? So yeah, now this is the name of the response that we want. So in this place now, I can change it now to I'm going to change it now to, let's say, validation register validation. I'll call it a validation and I'll hit on save. Now we have saved that, right? So now let's come back and paste what we did back, right? And I'll press send again. And we have this. I can also save this one as well, the various response that we have. I can save as an example, and I'll call this email already taken, right? So I can press save as an example. Okay, now that's just it. So let's close this various one. So now let's create the success one, the success route, like when we actually register a user. So yeah, I can put in 1, yeah, just 1, so it will be different, right? So when we press send now we should have the success, which is status of 200 of okay. So now I can press save as an example. So down here I'll change this to register user. I think the response is okay. So I save the example and I close it, and now that's just that. So we have saved a couple of response that we have. If you look at down here, these are them here. You can see the register validation, the email already taken, and the register user. The success, like when we have success in registering user. Now these are the various examples down here. So you can do that for your login user. You can do that in all your APIs if you want to give them an example of the response you are getting back. Sometimes I see an API documentation and they just give us the payload, give us the URL, and I don't know what the response is. I can't just be going be testing each one to see what are the various errors. So now as a developer or as a programmer, you writing your API, please try to document them. Is essential. Even if it's your pet project, document it. If you check out my GitHub repo, all my APIs I've ever worked with are open source. They are all documented. Even the ones that are not open source are all documented. I never create an API without a documentation. Never. Okay. So now that's for that. So we want to get in the currently logged in user. So I don't think I'm going to show you like audio routes and all the various routes from notification to the comments, to the posts and stuff like that. I don't think I'm going to show you all of them because of time. So let me just show you one of the notification part. I'll show you get current login user. So now if you want to get the current login user, you have to use the token to do that. So yeah, I will say a new, say a new stuff. So in this login now, have to save this. Make sure you save it. Have to save it, right? Sorry, save. Have to save it. Then here too, we have to change all this one now to use the environment variable. So I'll say URL like that. Can we see that? Then I'll hit save. So for this one too as well. I didn't save it. Oh, sorry, save. Then for this one too as well, let's just copy everything and we'll paste it down here, right? So here we want to get the current login user, and the way we're going to do that is through our token, now. So we can put the me, I say /me, that's how I do mine. So when I press send, now we're going to get an error. So can we see this? It's telling us that we can't get, could not get /API version 1. Then the auth/me is giving us a 404 not found. And why is it giving us that? It's because it's a get variable, so I have to put it back to post variable. So when I hit send, now I'm getting not authorized to access this route. Yeah, because you need a token to do that. So now this is something that you can save the response. I can say okay. It's because we have not actually created this one. So what we'll do now, we have to save this. When I click on save, now I will say get current logged in user, right? So we can put a description here. It can be like get current logged in user from the token. Yeah, so we're saving this notification now. It's saved to authentication just like that. Okay, now so we can save this response and say save as an example, right? So here we're just going to change this to error. You can say, what was it stuff again? When you put no token, like no token in the header, for instance. So I can say save example. So when you put no token in the header, that's the response you are going to get. So let's go back here. I'm going to close this one out. So let's go back to the get current login user, right? So we have to put a token. So we'll go to the authorization route, no, the headers route, sorry. Then when we go to the headers route, now we have to put in the bearer token, right? So the way we do that is it has to be a token, right? So here we'll say token with the keyboard like that. So here it has to be bearer. You have to put the bearer in a small letter like this, bearer. Then we have to copy the token, right? So here you have to copy this token first to access the current login user. So I'll copy this and I'll come down here and I have to just paste it like that, like so. So let's press send again, and we're still getting not authorized to access this route. Why are we getting that? Just why are we getting that? I don't really know right now. Okay, wait, let me go back there. I save it as token, right? It has to come with the token response. Yeah, it has to come with the token response. What's the problem? Sorry guys, let me check my errors. Send me not authorized. And on the auth me, let me go to my middleware, and in the auth controllers, telling me on line 21 if no token. Sorry, the headers has to be authorization. Oh my god, authorization, my bad, sorry about that. I thought it was token. So now let's hit the send now. Okay, now we can see it's now giving us back the response. So we have to put the authorization as the key, the header, and we have to put this barrier, then the token. Now we can see it's giving us back the data, so we can as well save this response too if you want to. So I'm not going to do that. I'll already show you how you can do that. So I'm not going to save the response. So now we can see the response. So let's say we have another route. Let's say we want to update our details, like we want to update our first name and our last name, right? So let's create that route. There's a route for that as well. So what I'll do is I'll just have to duplicate this instead of us doing that. So I'll save this, right, and close everything up. Then I'll change the name here. So what I can do here is just to edit it, right? So this will be update user details, right? So down here we'll change the description to be update login username, update login update currently logged in user details. I think that would be a better explanation. So you should try to look for a way to explain all your routes, like it's important. So I'll press the update right now. So now we have the update user details. So we have to change the route. The route for this is update details. So now let's press the send. And we should see what the response is telling us that there's nothing like that. There's nothing like that. There's nothing like that. Update details. Am I actually spelling that well? Am I spelling this well? Update details. Why is it telling me for not found? Sorry. Let me check my API again real quick. That should be in the let me go to the route folder, to auth and update details. That's it now. Sorry. The reason why we're getting this is because we need to put in our authorization for us to access this, our token. So in the header here, I'll say authorization again, and I have to paste this. And I have to put the bearer here as well, and I now press send. I'm still getting the for not found, could not post. It's a put request. Sorry, if you check my API down here, it's a put request, not a post request. That's also we're getting back a for not found. So now we'll put in the put request, right, and press send. And now it's telling us that email already exists. Let's go to the body. It's because we have that body down here. So what we need to do now is to update our first name, and let's say update our last name. Is that not? So down here I can say first name. I have to change this to JavaScript, and I can say Reagan, for instance, right? Sorry, that's how it's supposed to work in. And that's not JavaScript, and JSON. So now we will say last name now. So we can say tech. Why not? Let's press send. So it's telling us email already exists. I don't understand why it's doing that. Okay, we want to change the email. True. So let's change the email. So I can say email now. And the email that we used before was, I think it was TechRegan, right? So let's change the email to something like techregan2@gmail.com. Then we press the send button. Now we're getting back a response. The reason why we're getting that is because when you actually send it over, you already have that email on the database already. So you want to change the details, so you have to change the email address down here. So we are saying the email, the first name, and the last name. That's the response we're getting back, and the ID. You're there. So now that's it. So we can just press the save, just like that. Save, sorry. Now, if you look at what we have been doing since, we have been copying our authorization, like we have been copying the token and coming to the update, and we are coming to the headers and we're pasting the token down here. That is not actually a good way to do that. So imagine now that this token has expired and you want to test your other endpoints. Now you have to start copying all these tokens like everywhere to the comment. Maybe you have like various modules that you want to test in, and those modules are protected with you have to be logged in to do that. So now you have to copy this and keep doing that. No, that is not right. So now Postman has us covered. So the way we do that is when you log in, we're going to create a kind of a script that will save our token for us automatically and enable us to add it to any endpoint easily without stress. Are we there? So now the way we do that is when you in your login user, right? In this your login user, so you come to this test, right? You want to set an environment variable, just like the way we did this here, this URL. We want to set an environment variable automatically when we press the send button, right? So when we get our response back from the API, so now we can say, okay, come down here, we should see something like set an environment variable. So we should click on that. So this is it. So we're going to call our environment variable now token. So we'll call it token with capital letter, right? So now as the value, we're going to use an object available to us with Postman. So down here I can say pm.response. Now this is the response. So pm.response, right? .json. Are we there? So now the JSON. So mine is token. I'm trying to get the JSON right. Mine is the token. So maybe you might save yours with something else, or you might want to create like an environment variable that will automatically be saved. So I don't know what it just means, but mine here is token. So I have to come here and put .token just like that. Are we there? So now I'll just have to save this. So now anytime we click this route, anytime we click the send route, it's going to save this token automatically for us in an environment variable. So let's send like so. Invalid credentials. There's nothing like TechRegan anymore, so let's use 2. Let's press send again. Now we're having it, right? So this is it. So if you check this place down here, if you check this one, you can see the token is saved. It's saved right in the environment variable. So now how can we use this? So instead of us using this update user details, now instead of using this, now we'll clean this off. For example, we're going to clean that off, and we'll come. Oh, let's try with this one. Let's use this one first, since we zone afraid for use. Now we'll clean this off. We don't actually need this anymore. So you come to the authorization and you scroll down here and you go to bearer token. Now make sure that your route, it's actually your headers, you're actually putting the bearer first, then space and token. If you're not doing that, I don't think this is going to work. Like your API, like the way you design your API, you have to be like authorization as the value, as the name, then the value should be bearer, then the token, right? So now I can click on this. So what we need to do now is as of this part now is data. Sorry, is that no? The basic auth? No, sorry, that's not basic auth. Bearer token. So I don't know why, so I don't know why it wasn't showing before. So I have to put the token down here automatically. Normally, automatically supposed to help us put this, right? So let's test it now if it's going to work. When I press send, now you see that we actually removed the headers from here. So now we're getting it down here. So let's do that for the update details as well. So let's go back to the authorization. We'll come here and put bearer token. Oh, very good. It did that for us already. I was trying to figure out why I didn't do it here. I was wondering. So normally it's supposed to automatically update once you come down to the type and change it to bearer token, and to just do it. So now let's press send. We're getting back an error. We can not error actually, so we can see what is going on here. When we press send, you can see the details, right? Now that's for that. So if you want to now create like a different endpoint, so now what you have to do is just to go down there and just change the type, and that's all. So let's save this. Let's save this. Save it, and you update details, you save it as well. And this one too, you have to save it too. And let's go to register user. Now in the register user, we also have to create the script, the test distance there too. So let's come here and copy everything that we just did and come to the register and we'll paste it down here. Why not? And what we need to do now, let's create another user. So let's make this 13, and why not? Then we'll press send. So yeah, so when we press send, let's try to get in the current login user. So when we press send, now we're getting TechRegen 13. So we can see that automatically is creating that for us with ease. How are we saying this? So now let's go down here and I'll press save, and that's just it. Now there are various routes in the blog API, but I'm not going to show you that. We have reset password, forget password, update password, stuff like that. So I won't show you that. So what we'll just get straight to is to the post. Now down here, we'll come here, we'll create a new, add a folder, and I'll call these, what should I call it now? I'll call it posts. Now I'll call this post now because we are trying to create a blog post, right? So now we'll click on create, right? So now what we need to do now is to create. So let's try to duplicate this one. Let's duplicate it and we'll drag it down here, right? So in here now, what we need to do is to change these details. So I'll click on edit, and now I want to get all posts, right? So okay, now and in the description there's some details that we need to put here for this get all posts. So I'll just paste them down in. So I'll copy this like this, and I'll come here and I'll paste it. So this stuff is a markdown for table. This is like heading 3, and let's move this. So it's saying fetch all posts from the database with pagination. Also you can select as well. So we can see this one too for search, select, sort, and collection, query, and stuff like that. So now let's click on update. Yeah, so we have to change this one to what? A get variable, right? So when we press send now, so it's not the details. Sorry about that. So let's press send again, and now we are having this. Can we see this? Can we see all the details down here? Have we seen everything? The banner, like everything, very very simple. In the body, because this is actually a blog, so there's kind of HTML in there, but it's already escaped. API does that. Okay, so that's for that. So now what we need to do next is get a single post. So we can copy this, and I'll come here, like, let me just create a new route easily. So say URL, then I can say API /version1/post, then I paste the ID, then when we press send, we're going to get back an error. Why not? Oh, sorry, the headers are already been created. Oh, this route is not is a public route. It's not actually a private route, so that's why we don't need to put the bearer token. Yeah, I forgot that. So now let's save this. We have to save this. So it's save. I have to change this now to get single. Get single. If I can spell, get single post. So you have to say get posts by ID. Yeah, so we have to save it in the blog post and click on save post, just like that. So we're seeing it here, get single posts, just like that. So now the next route we're going to try to create is the create post route. So now that one is going to need a token. So let's just save this, save this, and let's close all this one out. So down here we'll create, let's add a new request. No need for this. Just plus it down here. So yeah, I will just URL, then it is the API / version 1 / post. So it's going to be a post request, and in the body we have to put in the raw and change this to JSON, just like that. And yeah, what we need now is the title, so I can say hello world. So yeah, we need the body, and I can say documenting a RESTful API. So I'm press send now. Not authorized to access this route. Why is that? Is because we are a guest user, so a guest user can't create a post. So let's, in a register user, we have to create an admin. So we will do that is to say row here, and I put the admin and I press send. So you're already taken. So let's make this 14, sorry, and press send. Yeah, so now we're logging. So we can now create this. Now it's going to work since it's an admin. This is not going to work because we actually have to put in the authorization route. Yeah, so let's save this one first, and yeah, I will say create posts, and I can say add post to the database and return the created posts. Yeah, just like that. So it's save to post. Yeah, so now we'll go to authorization and change this to PR token. Automatically is there. So now when we press send, now it's gonna work. So now we can see this down here registered. Okay, now so that's for it, guys. I can't document all the various endpoints, but I'll be leaving the API repo down below, and you will see my own documentation. So you see my own documentation as well, but I can't create all the endpoints. It's going to take a lot of time. It's already taking a lot of time already. So what we need to do now is, what I need to do now is to show you how we can make this public. Okay, now the way we can make this public is, we'll come down here and you say publish docs. You have to change the environment variable to blog API. Then now we can do some settings, change the color if you want to, but I'm not doing that. Just press on publish collection. Now you see collection publish, right? So now this is the URL. So now this is the URL you want to give to somebody to see your public API documentation. So let's open this up. Wow, so now we can see our documentation, blog API, see the markdown that we did. And if you look at the authentication now, you should see the various response that we have. Back the various response, we can see registration, validation. We can see 400 bad requests there, the example response. We can see the login user as well. You can see what's telling us, no token in the header for the get current login user. So now somebody that's trying to get access to your API will see the various response that they have. So we can see our payload, the raw. This is what we require for you to register a user and stuff like that. So if you want to write more, yeah, so you can see this get all posts. You see what we're trying to do here. So this is kind of a certain way for my API. So it's actually using a markdown, seeing everything, the bearer token, the token that you have to put here. So you can see everything simple, just like that. Okay, now that's for the Postman documentation. So now I want to show you how we can use Postman to create like an offline version. So now DocGen. So DocGen is like an offline version of it. If you want, so in DocGen, just I'll put down the link down below, the GitHub repo, for you to go to DocGen. So now this is DocGen. DocGen it's a kind of a tool that we can use, a command line tool that we can use to create our own documentation. So it's going to be like this. This is how documentation is going to be. So if you're on Mac, you can install it like this. If you're on Windows, you can download the binary. I already have the binary already, so this is how I'm going to use it. So first thing first, I have the download now in my, where is that place? It's in my tools in the C drive, in the tools here, in the C drive, right? So the way we can access it is to come down here and say CMD, right? Put CMD and we can access it for me. I can say DocGen, and we're seeing this. But the problem is that we always have to come down here to always access the DocGen. So I don't want that. So the way we're going to do that, I want to create an environment variable, right? So go to environment variables and go to the path and edit it. So I already did that already. We can see the C and the tools. Now the DocGen is inside the tools, so there's no need for me to. I already done that already, so I just press OK. No need. Press OK. Okay, so now the way we're going to use it now. So if I come to my favorite command line, I use commander. So I can just come here and just type in DocGen and boom. I don't need to come down that place to always do it. So DocGen like this, simple. So we're getting access to it. So what we need to do now is to come to our Postman. Have to use Postman to come to our Postman, and we need to say export, right? So export this one, we want to export. Now in the export, I'll put in the desktop and I'll go to API, and it's okay, like to call the blog API, and I'll press save, and your collection was saved successfully. Okay, great. So now the way we are going to create our own documentation with DocGen is we're going to follow this. To make an HTML documentation, use DocGen build. These are the commands you're going to use. So let's go to where we save it, change directory to the desktop and API. So press enter. That's where I saved it, right? So now say DocGen build then it's called blogs. I tab it because it's already in. I'm already in the folder. Then -o for the output. Sorry. And I'll just say index.html. Just call it index.html. I'll press enter. It's created for us. Now let's go to where we saved that just now. Let's go there and go to desktop. Get to API. Now when I click on open, you can see, voila, looking nice. So I'll click down here now, and we can see everything, the response header and the various response that we're trying to get, like various response from the API and log into as well. So if you don't want to use Postman for that your documentation, you can just use this one, and it's still looking all nice and pretty. You can host it by yourself, simple, just like that, and it's great. Hold on. Before we go, if you're seeing this URL and seeing URL like this, and you want to replace it with your own URL, like you want to replace it with yours, maybe your custom URL. So it's just simple. Just go to where you save the API. Yeah, open it up like that, and you can as well. You can just find and replace, and go to find and look for the URL. Then come down here and make sure it's this one, like, unless you're gonna make some lot of errors. So you can paste it like this. So here now we can replace, like, put in the URL that you wish to put. Okay, now that's for that. Okay, so now we actually have created it using the HTML. Now you can also use Markdown. I forgot to mention that you can also use Markdown. So yeah, let's go back to the documentation. So yeah, now I can be like, let's create a Markdown instead of an HTML document. We can say DocGen like that, build, and you can say the blog like this, and a -o, and I can say index.markdown, just like that. Are we seeing that? So now let's check it out in let's take it out here. So we're having the, what did I just do? Oh, sorry, that's not how you do it. Wait. Let me delete that. That's not how you do it. Wait. I made a mistake. So let me go back up. You have to put -m for markdown. My bad. -m. Press it. Then let's go back there again. No, not this one. I'll save it. So now try to open it in our VS Code. Now VS Code has an extension that we can use. Let me make this bigger so we can see it. VS Code has an extension that we can use. So here I can say preview, open preview. So we can see this, right? We're seeing the markdown version of it. So anyone you want to use, feel free to use it. This is the markdown version of it. So let's close this and close this, close everything. Okay, now guys, that's all for this video. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, hit the like button, and also hit the bell icon so you get notified when I release new content. Bye guys.